Well, hi everybody! Welcome to Nature Check, the show where you come for the game and stay for the science. This is the second episode of our Burn campaign, a post-apocalyptic game for apocalyptic times. We're playing Legacy: Life Among the Ruins. First, some announcements. Thank you to those of you who are watching us live. If you have any questions for the cast, feel free to post them in the chat and I'll bring them up when we take our break. If you're not watching us live, thanks for catching us on video at our YouTube channel or on our podcast. We appreciate you coming along with us on our adventures. Don't forget, subscriptions on any of our platforms, as well as comments and reviews and smashing the like button and all that stuff, they really help us out. So thanks in advance for doing that as well. And the social media information for the entire Nature Check cast, all like 10 or 12 of us, or however many of us there are, can be found down in the reference section below. With that, I guess it's time for introductions. Hi, I'm Sheryl, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a PhD student studying ecology at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and when I'm not doing research, you can find me on YouTube as The Roving Naturalist, and here on Nature Check with increasing frequency. I also just did a guest spot for the Natural Fun Dungeons & Dragons podcast, so you should go give them a listen, because Steph is a really fun DM, and we had a great time. For the Burn campaign, I'll be running the family called the Ripples, and my first character's name is Islae. Next, we've got Jordan.
Hi everyone, I'm Jordan, and I'm a PhD student studying medical engineering at Harvard and MIT. You can find me when I'm not probing people's brains to try to make them pass out on YouTube, where I talk about AI and algorithms and how we interact with them on a day-to-day basis. For this game, I will be playing, well, I guess, running the family, the Institute, and then playing the first character, Lissa.
You probe people's brains to make them pass out? That that was an unexpected intro.
Wait, yeah, I want to hear more about this.
We can take a second, yeah.
Well, so we're interested in developing ways to electrically stimulate people's brains to induce anesthesia without drugs, and then control it using like control systems and machine learning. So
that's really cool.
That's really cool. Neat. Next, we've got Peter.
Hey everybody, my name is Peter Coffey. I'm an entomologist studying agricultural pests, and my day job is teaching people about agricultural science and managing farm businesses and things like that with the University of Maryland. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing the Shepherds of the Cave in this campaign. And if you want to make me pass out, just show me my own blood and I will pass out. It's very simple.
I didn't realize that we had what makes people pass out as an introductory category.
I just figured it was on theme.
No, fair.
How can you tell if it's your own blood?
I mean, other people's blood doesn't bother me as much. I don't know. I mean, or
I get it.
But if we just held up a cup to you filled with blood,
I mean, I feel like in a double blind, like in a double blind, like set up, I wouldn't be able to tell. You know, it's more just I don't know.
Concept.
Yeah, it's
so you have to be in pain and be bleeding, is what you're telling us.
Not even pain, just even very, very small amounts of pain are fine. Like if there's a lot of blood from it, it's no good. But if somebody else, like I've had like technicians like bash their heads in with tools, and like I am fine with dealing with that scenario. Like I can do that and it's fine. But boy, if I get cut and there's blood everywhere, even if it's not a big deal and it's only a small amount of blood, or if I'm donating blood and I like look at the bag,
oh yep,
whoop, I'm gone.
I mean, ostensibly, if they get their head bashed in, they're probably having a worse time than you automatically.
But, anywho,
so whoever's having the worst time.
Anyway, Xander, you want to tell us who you are?
I'm just saying, like you have a panic attack seeing their blood and making it all about you, and they're, you know.
Anyway. Who
hey,
are
I didn't
you?
pick the introduction topic.
It's fine.
It
kind of happened. Let's keep moving, Xander. Tell us who you are. I mean, whoever you are, please.
My name is Xander Toffness. I am a PhD candidate at Iowa State University, where I study educational psychology and neuropsychology. So I catalog the different ways that people's brains can break by looking at sort of which parts of the brain correspond to different losses of abilities, things like that. And in my work in educational psychology, I actually have also done some work in making people pass out unintentionally, because I once made a video that was so boring intentionally. I was trying to make a video that was really boring so they'd have trouble learning from it. And I had a participant during finals week who was so stressed out from trying to get his credits for like participating in psychology studies and like doing all of his other homework that he fell asleep just out of his chair during the presentation of that video. So I have some success in making research participants pass out. So hit me up sometime about that, Jordan. We'll collab. It'll be a good time.
A good time.
Oh, and I play the Bowerbirds.
Oh yeah, they
are the lawgivers of the wasteland, and my first character is Ganymede.
He's not just like here Zoom bombing.
And my pronouns are he, him.
There
we go. That's right. I got around to the introduction.
Great job, folks. Sure. Wow. And most importantly, our game master for the Burn campaign is Jareth.
Hi, I'm Jareth. My background's nuclear and astrophysics. I also did biopharmaceuticals for a little bit. That was kind of fun. And now I direct for 12 Tone, which is a music theory channel. So, it's cool. And yeah, my pronouns are they. And are we ready to get going?
Sure.
Do you have any stories about passing out? Or
not really. I'm not a big fan of needles, but I've never passed out around one.
All right. Just making sure.
No, for sure. I was trying to think this whole time. Do I have a passing out story? And
see, I was really, gonna say the same
wish
thing.
I did.
Yeah, I have
got some good passing out stories from the history of neuropsychology and psychiatry in general.
Like personal.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe do the game and talk about that off stream. I'm interested, but I've only got so.
There's a whole book on electroanesthesia where it turns out that doctors have pulled some weird shit to make people pass out in clinical settings with no real logic or reason or standards. It's fun. It's a great book.
Especially like once you get like before medical ethics.
Yeah, they're like, instead of giving this woman an epidural, we just like stimulated her spinal cord at 167 kilohertz. And you're like,
but why?
And then her limbs thrashed, and we were like, oh man, that's so cool. Call all the other doctors in here.
Exactly.
Do it again.
Watch what happens when I poke right here.
I feel like we're all off the rails.
This is a horrifying start. We were at like this cool secret military research facility.
Now it's just a military research facility. It's not a secret anymore.
It was a secret, though. I guess it's not a secret from you. You're right. You've got me there. You just update the map.
Just cross out the word secret.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It's taking too long. I'm not doing that. It was kind of set into an old mine shaft. Jordan's character, the Institute, had been doing secret trips here. Apparently, no one else knows about that. But so she kind of knows it's radioactive and has this large elevator shaft that seems to not be working, but is what am I trying to say? But they're like kind of a lot of like fist-sized mites around, I think, were the major details I had so far. If anyone remembers anything else or wants to know, there's large cart rails going in and out for the shifting of large spoil you expect.
Yeah, I remember the mites because she said that we should watch out for them because they would want to eat us.
And there's a broken elevator?
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm. And like you've been to the control room, and also when you hang out here, your Geiger counters are not like particularly thrilled. So those of you without radiation shielding, which I think is everyone but Xander, don't want to stick too long. I think you got one of the tags on your armor is good against radiation.
I'm not sure, actually. I got some tags in my armor.
Yeah, one of them was not tough. The other one, hardened. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do have hardened on my armor. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you're a bit protected against radiation and the like.
Am I being smug about it? Like, whew.
Are you?
Hate to be you guys right now. I sure am protected from radiation over here.
You can just drag all of us
So
out.
much radiation
No
protection.
problem.
I'm like heating up over here.
Woof. Boy, I sure would hate to have free neutrons going through me right now.
I use my fishing spear to trip him in the hallway.
One of your fishing spears.
What?
But like,
One
I
of your
can't
fishing
tell
spears.
you
have
one
many.
of your many.
Yes, one of my many.
But like, I can't tell you. Are you being smug? But yeah. What sort of? Let's see. And we did an uncover roll about this. And right. Already. So that's taking. Sorry, I'm just looking at the moves and trying to see. So yeah, what do you guys want to do? Head in? Not head in? Scout it? Send in Xander with his cool armor. Sorry, Ganymede.
I don't know. Lissa, it sounded like you had thoughts on where to go in here. Is that true? Or you had a map or
I
something?
don't remember if those thoughts were known to everyone.
I think you were being somewhat secretive with your map. The other thing that you know, that I'm almost positive didn't share was that there's some sort of like power source that seems to be at least partially biological in nature. Yeah, exactly.
That's like in the core of the facility and parts of it that we haven't explored yet that they also don't know about.
Exactly. But that you have kind of an idea about. And yeah.
Does anyone how bad are our Geiger counters going off? And Charon does not have any idea about like relative levels of radiation versus how long is okay, like how bad is bad, like
that's all fair. I'm gonna tell Jordan this because her character would know, is that you can kind of definitely come in for a couple hours, but you don't like want to spend a night, for instance, and you probably don't want to come back repeatedly within short periods of time. But if you space out your trips by every couple of months, then you probably are reasonably safe to kind of go in for short periods, while avoiding harmful radiation effects.
Okay.
That's what Jordan knows. And any characters who kind of do, because there's definitely, like, you've been running on nuclear reactors for a while, like I've said. So there's definitely reasons any of your characters might or might not know a decent amount about, like, at least the hazards posed by radiation. It's probably like you saw, duck and cover style, the hazards of radiation educational videos growing up.
Great.
First, get under your desk.
Hey, kids.
No.
I'm a neutron. I'm here to ruin your DNA.
Good old educational videos.
Exactly. So yeah, any of you could kind of have some idea about like how hazardous it is. I think Jordan, you were forthcoming with the somewhat radioactive nature of the place. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm also happy to have shared all of the other information about how long we need to like be in there and when we should leave.
Yeah, the
that's
safety
not
stuff is that's not like an asset
We
you can
know,
hold.
are there like lots of other people hanging around in there, or very few
Hanging out where?
inside of the secret?
You assume that like basically everything else has been abandoned for the majority of the past millennium. There's certainly, Jordan, in your past scouting missions here, like you've seen your tracks, but you've never seen anything to indicate like that there's any other human habitation, occupation, visitation. I can go on, but that's all the words that end in patient that I know.
Okay.
Documentation.
So if we walk in there and there's like a fully functioning Starbucks or like a group
That
of
would be
scientists
weird.
having a meeting or something, we should be alarmed.
I would be. But it's up to you how you react.
Okay, one last question. What time of day is it? Because I feel like...
So we've kind of figured that you probably had to kind of encamp for a night, which was probably a bit weird for you, especially right now, just kind of starting out and like the sun existing again, but there you were. And so probably got here, I'd say late morning, early afternoon. Kind of feel free to pick which you, if for some reason it matters at that level of detail.
Does that mean that we've had a short rest or a long rest?
Oh yeah, probably. Let me double check the shake it off.
But I think that means
you can heal.
Yeah, I think my back is no longer thrown out, which is exciting.
Yep. You've
cool.
got
some moist
like
heat on it during the night.
Right, exact pad. We've got like a I want to say aerogel, but that's not it. Memory foam like mattress pad is very comfortable.
Yeah,
like super futuristic. Definitely.
That is not my experience with camping.
Yeah, that's because it's 3,000 years in the past. Like being comfortable has been a high priority for the past whatever. At least the mattresses, the portable mattresses are good. That's fine. This is how it is.
Does that mean that we got to see the stars?
Oh yeah, but like you saw those. What was weirder was the lack of stars. Really, it's like Xander, Ganymede, you've been up to the surface before. I think not here was what we determined. I mean, you could have because you kind of wandered off plenty. But like the stars are out all the time in a sunless world.
Oh, right, and you had brought up that we would have been navigating by them, except that when there was the sun, all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, like we can't see to navigate,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charon is definitely unsettled or he's like almost relieved when the sun sets, like because like it's like, oh, okay, this is what outside is supposed to look like. It's nighttime.
I've heard a theory that those are also suns, but just further away.
That's crazy.
I know. That's what I thought. Just a theory.
Yeah, I mean, we tell the same creation myths in the shepherds.
Right. Oh dear.
So yeah. I mean, I don't even know how you would test that scientifically.
And how do we know that the sun that came back is the same sun that went away?
Right, exactly.
What if it's a descendant or like a friend, a family friend of the original sun?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a really good point.
Ooh, there are multiple fun ways that could have come about too. Ooh.
Yeah, if only we had good records of what the sun looked like.
I mean,
with giant sunglasses on it. I've seen them.
Exactly.
No,
like a triangle roof.
What?
Astrophysics has definitely depreciated somewhat as a field without access to the sky, as you can imagine.
Wait, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
If the sun was gone, then the moon would have been dark too.
Correct.
So we're now seeing a moon that's not like a black sliver, like a black.
Wait,
like,
no,
right?
what? No,
like
moon.
No
moon.
No moon.
No moon. No moon.
We've heard stories, but like, as far the night sky looks the same to you.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. So has there not been a moon for all of the time that there hasn't been a sun, or is it just a new moon?
It's a great question. Astronomical observations just have not really been a priority. There's definitely like 1,000-year-old records, but like at this point, they're all in file formats that are proprietary and depreciated.
To break up my Atari.
Exactly. They all run on the Game Boy Color. You got to get AA batteries for that, and they do not last very long. And the cold is the thing. Yeah. Oh,
Wait, I thought I put batteries in the freezer to make them last longer. So wouldn't that be better? Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it slows down the chemical reaction happening inside.
Right. Fair enough. But there's a certain point past which, though,
sure,
it stops. I remember that's a big problem for rocket ship engineering. I just don't remember exactly how and when it breaks down, and that's not.
I love that
when
you're
you
like,
put your rocket batteries in the fridge.
Rocket batteries are in the fridge, aren't they? So you have to make sure they're prepared for those circumstances.
They're right next to the bag of cat food.
Mm-hmm. And the several dead insects if you're an
Right,
entomologist.
yes.
Oh, God, you people are weird.
All of my dead insects are in little individual empty spice jars in the freezer.
Yeah. I think I've got a raccoon skull in my freezer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, this is upsetting. What do you do with this cave entrance? Are you just gonna look at it? Be like, yep, that's a cave entrance, all right, and then leave? Sorry, a mine entrance. It's got its big, open doors.
I mean, I'm very willing to
It's
go
more a
and,
scouting mission than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to check any given thing out, but we're here.
Very willing to do a scouting mission.
Same.
I at least want to explore the front passageway. Xander, if you're willing to explore further into
Who's Xander?
Your character's name.
All right.
Ganymede.
Ganymede, thank you. Ganymede, if you want to explore further into the complex, that would be much appreciated.
I could use my battle roll techniques that I've been perfecting.
Oh dear.
That should worry Sheryl.
So we're going
It
into
does.
this cave?
I'm getting flashbacks to a different time. You don't look the same, but somehow your personality is identical.
All right, if you guys are heading in, whoever's in charge want to forge a path, it's
I would be glad to.
definitely I think I said last time, but if not, I'm changing the canon. A few miles of tunnel just before the large equipment elevator shaft. So there's the chance of getting lost and not being able to find your way out, or there's definitely unstable portions of the floor if you aren't careful. Anyhow, give me a force roll to forge a path. Whoever is in front, it sounds like Ganymede.
Yes, I agree. It should be Ganymede.
All right.
Forge a path force. Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain stopped working for a second.
No. I get it.
I got my first miss.
Well, that's bad.
What time?
Wait, didn't you also get us lost on the way here? Or on the way to
No, he broke his
little.
bike or whatever.
Well, but even then I succeeded. This is my first legit.
the full
yeah,
miss
yeah.
versus a partial success. Yeah, that's gosh, I need to go quickly look at my reaction moves, but
Can I assist him since I'm
yes.
the other young able-bodied person?
yes, I believe you can. I think you just roll the same thing.
So it's plus force.
Call for aid. Yeah. If you have relevant backstory, I don't think the two of you do.
What do we have?
Your
you rescued me once. Now I'm rescuing you.
Hooray! I accept your rescue.
yeah.
That sounds
Why
like
don't you just roll
that
it
sounds like no
regular?
advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you just give me a roll?
I wasn't really.
Okay. So yeah, it moves up to a partial success on Forge a Path, which means you get to take two of the bad things. I'll read them out loud for our viewers. So 2 of you're exposed to danger, the route is lost, you can't take gear and or other characters with you, or you take a lot longer than you expected. I gotta say, 2 of those in this scenario, that doesn't sound fun. I do not envy you.
Let's see. So I'm
Great.
I'm just picking?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah, but Sheryl gets to share in the consequences.
Yippee skippy.
At least it's up from a complete failure,
I
and then
know.
I would have done something really bad. I have some cool threats in this cave, and they would have happened.
That doesn't mean they're not going to happen.
No, but like you can approach them cautiously and with understanding, rather than getting them
Yeah.
jumped on you, which would have been way worse.
When it says you can't take gear other characters with you, does that mean like it would just be the two of us without Lissa and Charon, or like it would be us but not the grad students?
I think I would say, yeah.
Grad students,
you'd
otherwise known as
probably-
gear.
They're a form of gear. They are in the gear section. That's what's fucked up about it. His followers are a subsection of the gear chapter.
The grad students are, we have to reiterate this, the grad students are on par with my backpack octopus, so like they are gear.
Actually, I think they're slightly better, right? They're quality 3 and your octopus is quality 2. So you got really good grad students. That's nice.
And according to
slightly.
several
They're
prominent
slightly
scientists, 3 is larger than 2. I can get you a citation on that later. I think splitting the
okay.
party is a bad idea. So
But
probably not
I
that
will
one.
say,
What a bold statement.
for that one, which in this game it's a bit less so, but it's certainly not great. But I will say for that one, yeah, I will let you take the kind of party, just not kind of you were attached to support people who are like, for instance, watching your stores and guarding from outside, whatever, to make sure the animals don't get at it. Anyhow,
I think we should be exposed to danger, and the route you took is lost, because I think that's more interesting than taking a lot longer than expected.
Oh, we're going for interesting instead of convenient and safe. Okay.
I mean,
I guess
none
that's
of
how we're
those
playing
were
the game.
You can't always go with convenient and safe.
Like the two that he didn't take were let's see, yeah, you can't take folks with you, and it takes longer, which in this particular case is also a form of danger. So like,
I guess
you're kind of
fair enough.
But here you take a turn, you take another turn. It looks just like the other turn. Do you know how to get back? You don't think you do. When all of a sudden you hear some growling coming off from further down the corridor. Just like some low growling. It's probably
Islae,
good.
is that your stomach?
Anybody know what that is? Any of you who have been topside before know what that is?
Well,
I wish I
growling
picked
doesn't
up
sound
World
like an
Traveler instead
insect
of-
thing.
No, it doesn't. My first instinct was to yell puppy, but that's not what Islae would say, so...
That's fair. It's good roleplay right there. No, yeah. You, I guess, the Islae, right? No, Jordan, your character, Lissa. Lissa, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it makes more sense for you to say the name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'm trying to, like, there's a lot of things we're juggling here. Don't worry about it. You haven't, you've been here before. You haven't heard this sort of growling.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And is it anything that I recognize in my work with like all of the animals and things like that? Like, I mean,
I was figuring your animal tending was more kind of in like giant insects and that class of things.
Yeah, it is.
This sounds like a big cat, but I don't think that you would necessarily be familiar with it.
I don't even know that I've run into a small cat before.
Yeah, no. Humanity keeps cats and dogs. I am insistent.
I was gonna say, we wouldn't not bring our
I'm
babies
not
with
doing
us.
this.
Yeah.
The
And
shepherds
birds.
don't
You have
keep
little
cats.
No,
and
you don't
dogs.
have
Yeah.
to.
Well, because
I'm
the
just
cats
saying.
would kill all the bugs and then
Like-
just like stare at them and bat them against the wall and
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Marina insisted that she found a bug the other day, and I didn't believe her. And then I got closer, and it really was a bug. So she got 2 treats instead of 1. Because I called her out, and I was like, "There's no bug there, you idiot." It turns out my cat was smarter than me, and it was just a small bug that blended in with the curtains. So.
You give her a treat for killing bugs?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
What kind of bug?
Yeah, it is some growling. It sounds bad. Does anyone want to do something, or do you want to let me do something? You don't, but I can.
What does the area that we're in look like right now?
So I'm kind of picturing the sorts of like cross mines with like, you know, big crossbars, but with probably iron or steel or something instead of usually you see like wooden bars and kind of doing the support. But and so probably at an intersection that looks just a little too much like the intersection you thought it was, but isn't.
And there's been absolutely zero signage.
Right. This is kind of the announcement. Yeah, it seems like you kind of took a wrong turn. I think when your character is here, she's not necessarily the one doing the scouting, right? So she doesn't necessarily. She's more following kind of the people who know where to go, and as such, like this looks like paths you've taken, but a lot of it is just kind of this. The probably even then unused section of mine that was kind of at the surface level to just like actually test the area. I guess I don't know how mining works, if I have to be entirely honest. I'm doing my best here, but like I just know that, like, for instance, like neutrino observatories are built into old mines, and that old mines go real deep. Anyhow, I'm doing my best, people.
Oh, that's great.
So is it like a straight passageway? Is there a fork? Is it a four-way stop?
Let's say I kind of I like a fork. You've kind of just came around a corner, and so kind of going off, and kind of little to the left and fairly to the right. I guess in camera view that might be backward. It doesn't matter for you at home.
And sorry, you're talking about these like cross beams and things. How high is the ceiling? And like, can we get, in terms of both the Y intersection and the vertical distance, like a better idea of where exactly the growling is?
So just kind of the corridors, I think in this section are probably like 2-3 meters tall, just like fairly tall for a hallway, but not like machinery tall like the entrance to the mine was. This kind of more personnel sized tunnels. There's tracks too, but like smaller, they kind of feed in. And as for kind of, you can't quite tell which of the two paths. It didn't come from behind you, but you just given kind of the echoey audio of mine, it's tough to tell which of the two corridors paths the growling came from down.
And is there any stuff in this corridor, or is it just like us?
There's probably like wiring running overhead with light bulbs that do not work, have not worked for years. And kind of, it might be occasional bit of piece of machinery or tools left around, kind of an empty locker here and there that held something you don't know necessarily what. Long looted first aid box, that sort of thing. But broadly speaking, it's mostly you were trying to get to the important rooms that have, like, you know, the labs, the there was some laboratories that the Institute had been to that I had mentioned kind of further down, with near the kind of elevator controls, but more basic, you think, than what might be downstairs. So you're trying to get towards there through this set of corridors, but got lost on the way.
Right.
We're not lost. We just don't know where we are.
More importantly,
That's lost. Into most dictionaries.
We're exploring. Of course, we don't know where we are.
Yes, but there's also an angry kitty in front of us, so...
Maybe.
Don't worry, I have many knives.
Okay.
Can I
what would
pick
you...
a fight with the cat, even though I can't see it?
Oh my god.
Wait, do we know which, like...
By throwing knives.
We're at a Y-shaped corridor, so do we know which corridor the cat is in?
Yeah, he said...
No, it was...
Okay.
Yeah. You could probably...
Can we roll something to find out?
Almost certainly. This direction. What's sway again?
That's like sway is the like
persuasion.
Yeah, that's like the persuasion or like sneakiness.
Well, persuade the cat not to eat us.
Lore is kind of the more like the generic like intelligence, wisdom style of skill. So.
Can you guys hear the really annoying bass music coming from my downstairs neighbors?
Nope.
No.
Good, because I can hear it. So if you see me dancing,
that's what you were dancing to.
It's really loud, but I think my microphone is clipping it off, so I think you're fine.
Okay.
Let me know if you start hearing it, because they're apparently having a rave down there right now.
Well, someone's gotta, I guess.
Breaking quarantine. There were 9 people
they could
in
just
my
be having a rave by themselves.
I mean, I guess they could. There were 9 people in my neighbor's backyard last night, and I was like,
jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Lore, force, maybe. None of these moves quite seem to, like, the Forgotten Lore is the closest one to, like, a look around style move, and that's not quite it. So let's just roll Lore generic. What's up? You got something that actually works?
Go for it. Well, I was gonna say, like, is there like a way we could diffuse the situation? So does like somebody have food or something that we could try to, appease?
Oh yeah,
wild animal or something.
I mean, I will say, actually, yeah.
I don't remember what is diffuse the situation again. Like I remember reading that, but I don't.
That's like a de-escalation thing, and you get to choose which of the 4 ability scores you use based on like how you're doing it.
Yeah.
So you like here, kitty, 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 kind of thing. Like that might work.
I will actually say, now that I think about it, that the try to figure out which corridor it's down is probably also that with lore, possibly, just because like. Your part of the danger is that you're not sure where it is, so that's a form of diffusal if we want to do that. So yeah, who wants to diffuse and in what way? Peter, I think you used your medicine asset already, but you do have a food one if that's how you're feeling.
Oh yeah, okay. I was thinking that I had left my food behind on my mount.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do we still have stuff?
Well, yeah, Peter didn't. Not Peter. Xander didn't pick the
leave the stuff behind.
The stuff behind option. So I imagine you're not like, you don't have. There's still stuff left outside, but like you kind of brought the stuff you need rather than if you taken that option, you wouldn't necessarily.
Okay, fantastic. Well, then in that case, then I have a bunch of bug jerky.
Jerky.
Bug jerky.
Don't knock it till you try it. Yeah.
I'd like to knock it in advance, but let's do it.
Mostly I was raising my eyebrow because I'm not sure how that would work. Like, I've eaten bugs before happily, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, how you would make bug jerky. But I guess these are, like... fancy
giant bugs,
future bugs, so
yeah. When you have a muscle
meat
that's
and jerky.
this large, you scrape the meat off of the apodyme and you hang it up, and it dries.
Totally.
Salt it.
Yeah.
What do we roll your thing? I don't have to find out more about bugs.
What am I?
Are you the one coaxing the kitty? Or is somebody else doing it?
Apparently.
You can if you want. Anyone else can try something else. I'm not trying to force your hand here.
No. No, it's
since
fine.
Sheryl suggested it, I thought I would press it.
I feel like Charon is more of a like. Here, Islae. Try and throw this out there and see if it. You've got a better arm than I do.
I do.
Maybe it'll eat that and leave us alone.
Try to throw it with a dangling motion.
Yeah, make it kind of twitch. A lot of our insects are vision hunters, and so they need stuff to be moving actively. I don't know what mammals are like.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know what mammals are like either.
Sure. I'll take it and throw it at the kitty. Is that... I guess that's sway, right? Because I'm, like, being persuasive?
I would take that, certainly, but which of the two corridors do you throw it down, or are you just trying to, like, 50-50 guess here? What's your...
Oh, man.
They both kind of curve out of sight fairly short, just because the one going right bends far harshly to the right after a fairly quick turn, and the left one kind of curves more gently off, but fairly quickly as well. So you don't necessarily have great vision on the situation.
Okay. I will throw it down the right-hand one.
All right. Yeah, give me that roll.
Okay, is that with sway?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's a misdirection. Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Nah, not good enough.
Not the roll. But, cool. Does anyone want to, like, help, or we just, like,
I don't know.
letting that roll?
Does anybody have a way to help?
I can shout encouragement from afar.
You just backed up.
You got this, bro.
That's not...
Thank you.
I mean, is there a realistic way that I can help?
I don't know. I just thought it was fair to offer the opportunity before I called in consequences.
Yeah, what do you yell during baseball games?
In what way did you fail? Did you not throw it far enough?
Like how did I fail? So, was it just not enticing? Did I pick the wrong corridor? Like what's the problem? I guess, yeah.
I was kind of waiting to see the result before fully deciding on that, but let's start with it being the wrong corridor, and so the Santa tracks them to the spot between the meat and where they are, which is where you is.
I'm no geometrist, but that sounds right.
Ooh, bad.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's kind of my initial thing, but like if we kind of move things around with the diffused roll getting moved up, then I could.
And I'll crouch and wait by the other corridor with my knife.
We would be assisting in diffusing?
Yeah, if you
the
call for aid.
Anything that helps with that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like I could throw more grenades, like last time. That's not really diffusing.
Well, that's
just want to throw a grenade. That's fusing.
No, what you see.
That was a fuse joke. I heard your fuse joke, Xander. That was good.
Oh goodness.
All right. So you threw it down the rightward corridor?
I threw it down the right-hand corridor.
So the growling now comes much clearer from the left one. Oh gosh, shucks. And you.
Oh gosh, shucks.
Shucks, you guys.
That's my reaction too.
I'm trying to tone down my swearing for this, just like for public consumption.
You're allowed to swear.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've already dropped an F-bomb this session.
Oh, and I'll do it again. I'm just like, I'm doing my best here, people. I'm
You're
trying
allowed
to be
to
like.
Swear. This is not a kids show.
Gosh, guys.
Also, swearing words are just words. And I'm sure the people who research brains can tell you that swear words, when they come out of your mouth, often are actually coming from a different part of your brain than the language center. So, like, swearing is a reaction as opposed to, like, a chosen piece of language. So
it makes... There's the pain thing they did on that one episode of Mythbusters. But that's not where we are right now. Nope. Right now, you see a pack of, let's call them 5... snow leopards.
Up to 5. It's really more like 4.5.
Snow leopards. Oh, good.
No, it's cool. It's cool. They kind of look. They've got like a gently kind of phosphorescently glowing. They look like they almost like there was rocks that were sleeping and kind of got covered in moss, as it were. So they kind of have a kind of overgrown back with like lightly phosphorescing. They've got like translucent white, fur. They definitely don't have spots or they kind of, I think an albino strain just like took it over. So they've got like glowing red eyes, whatever else, and then kind of this glowing like not glowing red, but kind of slightly glowing greenish moss on their backs, and distracted from the smell of meat by the appearance of larger creatures, they seem much more interested in you. Does anyone want to defuse, or am I just gonna start ripping limbs off?
Oh boy.
I can rip some limbs off. That's fun.
I guess I can try diffuse. Can I?
Or
well,
like
that'd
a
be force, right? Does it have to be force?
You could also. I'm just looking at. Force is certainly like if you're like trying to punch and be like, no, bad kitty. That's that. If you try to like get big and go, just like intimidate them off, that could be sway.
The intimidation is actually one of the examples for plus force on the.
You know what? You're right.
Thing.
You're totally right. Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's
Cool.
not.
I'll make a force.
But...
I'll make a force check then.
Do it. Whoever. You. Cool.
I missed.
God. Well, take some harm.
Oh,
Guys, I have determined after careful consideration that these things are dangerous.
So kind of Ganymede, you like get out in front to try and like make sure that if somebody's getting like whatever it's you, I assume is roughly like how you're trying to, or to, I guess, scare them back. Is that the?
Yes.
How are you? Okay. So you kind of get out front to like try and be like, I'm big and intimidating, and they're like,
That's
so
right.
fucking what, and jump you.
They don't know that, like a porcupine, I have many knives.
What they have are claws and phosphorescent fungus.
I don't have any of those
and big fluffy
Yeah.
tails.
yet.
And big
But I will
fluffy
take them.
tails. Maybe. They took a bite.
Oh,
I know you have armor, so you take 1 less damage out of the 2, but you still take a harm box.
I am sprained.
Sprained. Okay. So
all of you?
I'm sprained.
something. Is sprained. All right. So then, that's your kind of armor holds, but they kind of force the weight forces you backwards onto your ankle. Weirdly, that sounds like a sprain. You'll have time to. I'm just trying to match it to the
totally.
harm box. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm trying to like could be an arm like bent out in the wrong way because he's like, but they just like, where do you want to sprain? You can sprain whatever.
Truly.
Those are your
My
2 options.
tailbone?
You don't have to.
That doesn't seem very useful.
Have you sprained
Unless
your
you wanna
tailbone
walk.
before? It hurts so bad.
So bad.
So
It's
bad.
the future. We've got anesthetics.
Can't
up the
walk,
wazoo.
can't sit,
Nope.
can't lie down. It's all bad.
You got anesthetics back at the city, back with the supplies, but you don't even know how to get back. You lost your way. And
For
there's
brave
panthers.
explorers, it's part of the job.
We are rolling great tonight.
So you
All
can
right, who
kind
wants to
of
do a thing?
fiercely assault and go back. You could still trying things, but if it goes bad, it continues to go bad, and harms will.
Can I use my trained assault wasps?
Yes. Did you take a jar of them on your belt or something for kind of
Yeah, I feel like
a miniature?
I wasn't gonna say so, but then you were like, "Oh, we didn't leave equipment behind." So then, yeah, I'm guessing I've got like kind of a harness, so I can like take the nest off of the horn of my mount and like, carry it with me like a backpack. So like that's all I've got. I've got my wasps and like some collection vials and a food.
That's fucked up. I love it.
Actually, the food was for the wasps. They eat
Of
me.
course it was.
I hate everything about that sentence. But cool. It sounds like that's a fiercely assault because you're using weapons to hurt, capture, or drive off your enemies. I assume you're kind of aiming towards drive off.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're kind of like on Xander, so I just reach over my shoulder and give the nest like a big smack, and they come swarming out of it and like
Respond. You train them to
Nature is so
respond to
beautiful.
what? Pointing,
Really is.
whistling, pheromones. Do you like?
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you
They're
get them
like.
to attack this dude specifically
Okay,
instead
yeah.
of you because you just smacked their nest?
Yeah.
That's why they're trained attack wasps. And
Yeah.
like, what's the training? Tell me about this.
Okay. Yeah. So they're trained to key in to the smell of like human blood. I'm assuming maybe Xander took some superficial
Absolutely.
smacks, and then go for non-human sense in that area. So they're specifically trained, like, not to hurt humans and to protect humans.
All right.
So it's canon that they will not protect us from other humans.
Yeah,
I guess it is now.
Yep. If you don't
Sorry,
think
I'm thinking
writing
like a
that
GM.
down-
Yeah.
No, Sheryl, I already made it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thank you.
I was just asking him because he was the one saying it, and I was like, but okay.
It's the only.
I mean, I offered you pointing. You could have done whatever.
You know, their eyes are really we tried centuries. We tried training them with pointing, but their compound eyes make it really confusing. You know, figuring
So
out
3D
like,
tracking.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's-
Ray tracing gets tough. All right. I guess I can see how that broke bad. Give me the force roll, or did you?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay, cool. So let's see how this breaks. I'm betting good.
Oh no. Oh no.
Standard modifiers.
Oh.
8.
God.
That's an 8.
8 as a partial success. You get to choose 1, and I get 2 of the bad things list. You get 1 good thing, I get 2 bad things. I'm not gonna read them. This feels. I'll let you go with the one you choose.
Wait. Now the bad things list is in the handout. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I can look at it.
It's on page 76 of the.
Oh.
76.
Yeah.
Just
76 based on the book pages, not on the PDF pages.
On the PDF pages, yeah.
Oh.
Of the handout sheet.
Am I doing fiercely? I'm doing fiercely assault. Okay.
Yep.
You inflict savage, terrifying harm on your enemies.
All right. So this is something or someone important is harmed, and I think the thing that makes sense, at least for this one, is Xander. If you want to take another harm box, I'm so sorry, Peter did this to you. The wasps just get aggro because somebody smacked their web and they're in an unfamiliar environment.
Their
Nest.
their training is not perfect, you know.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna give you a point of harm too, just because you smacked their nest too, and you did your best. But there's definitely I think that you kind of scare them off. I think that now you're lost and at least alone, which is a bit better. I'm gonna probably make somebody forge another path to get back out since you lost a route. Or actually, no, sorry. Given that you diffused the danger, I think that kind of will get you to the labs in the back, near the giant elevator. So you can have a bit of a poke around because you've earned it. But yeah, you'll need to forge your path back because you did a bad job as well. Cool. So yeah, you kind of, after a series of corridors, each more identical than the last, you end up kind of in a more kind of hospital-esque section, with kind of the glass, like the checkered glass. There's some fairly basic lab benches, and several of them, of course, affected by a millennia of neglect and misuse, but they reasonably look exactly like you remember from chemistry. It's fairly basic. Equipment up here is mostly picked over, but you got back here. So who wants to do what? What's the updates?
Well, there's a part that I'm looking for, so can I try and search for that part?
Oh, that's right. That's why you were here, was that? Yes. Yes.
I didn't come just to be stung by wasps.
Well, that's perfect.
Don't forget injured by cats.
Injured by cats. Although if we think about it, we kind of knew that would be the outcome. Who sends a bird to fight a cat? I mean,
And you bird.
it's like Pokemon. That's an elemental
He's a
weakness.
Bowerbird.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and you broke your bike on the way to this facility.
True.
And
it is
mildly
not-
irradiated.
It's the story. It's the story of a
mean-
no good, rotten, horrible day. For,
Yeah.
for
Who
gaming.
among us is not mildly irradiated, you know?
Although I feel very not irradiated, so at least I got that going for me. I'll be the one laughing when y'all sprouting third arms later.
Yeah.
No.
Wait. Just think about how useful that third arm will be, though.
How did we get
I'm
back
gonna
to that
scratch
so
that itch on your
quickly?
back.
I'm not doing this 2 weeks in sessions in a row. Yeah, you find a device. Let's do that. It seems like it can kind of whale searching. Yeah, you were forging the path, so let's give you the device. That all adds up to me. You definitely find some medical components. Give me a lore roll for the unleash power.
Got
All
an
right.
8,
Partial
which is
success.
the best roll of the day.
Yeah. So, is it? Oh wow, yeah, y'all have been. Oof. Also, it changed the formatting to something with less purple, and I don't care for it. Neither here nor there, though. So you can pick 2 of the device working exactly as you intended, being reusable, not rousing other devices in your environment, which would be probably good for you, and avoiding the device's side effects, which is probably also a good thing. So you get 2 of the 4 possible beneficial effects.
I think I have to pick the first one, since I'm looking for a
That it
specific
works.
device.
Yeah, that made sense to me too.
And then I guess, wait, what was the last option?
Sorry. Okay, a second. You avoid the device's side effects?
What would the side effects be?
It's a great question.
I'm gonna pick that one. That way we'll never find out.
Wait,
All right.
you're using a device right now?
I'm not using
he
it, I'm just
got a
finding it.
device.
Oh,
Here to,
I thought that move was only when you use it, but okay, when you find it, okay. Sorry.
yeah, when you find
I
is when
see.
it is, and using it kind of
Oh, wait.
is a bit more situational if you look at the device section of the gear.
I
I
see.
know it's the first time I found a device.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've forgotten about that, but that makes sense for this setup. We're all learning, gang. We're all learning.
I'm gonna put it with my stuff, and I'm gonna be like, all right, now we can go back home. Why
So
else are we
it
here?
will help you, in the production of medicine. It's a bit, but it does rouse other devices in your environment. Interesting.
Well, it
Maybe
can.
when I yank it out of the machine, that it's a part of
Yeah.
the machine, like collapses or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's I think I'm gonna hold on to that one. Use it later.
Okay.
But for now, I think why don't you give me a lore roll? Nothing bad will happen if it goes wrong. I just want to kind of see what you notice.
That's a super success.
Oh hell yeah. Oop. Oh gosh. You kind of think you may have inadvertently activated an AI subroutine or something like that in the system that kind of runs the base, the research lab. Like,
I don't know a lot about AI. If only there was a YouTube channel or something I could watch to educate
Shucks.
myself about current events involving
If
artificial
only.
intelligence.
You're so good
Such
at
a good
that,
idea.
Sandy.
What would a channel like that be called, do you think?
It's a great question.
Something catchy, probably.
Well, no, because I don't have the catchy name anymore.
Yeah.
That's
I got rid
true.
of that.
We're collaborating soon, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I got
plug,
the
plug,
script
plug.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I reviewed it the other. That's not what we're doing right now. I am so sorry. We will plug our projects at the end. I apologize for doing it in the middle.
We are so easily distracted.
Okay, it's sometimes you don't see people as much as you used to, and you get a bit. Anyhow, what are we doing? So yeah, you feel like you kind of maybe activated some of the defensive routines in this base, and they're not gonna like hit you necessarily immediately, but you definitely feel like time is more of the essence than it was even before, when the only threat was radiation, and not even to you. So like whatever.
I'll just float the idea to the group. What if we leave?
So we're done.
I don't know. Why
we came in, we got lost, you pulled a thing, and now we're leaving.
Well, no.
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know.
At the moment, you're more data gathering so that like your families can kind of decide what to devote resources to in the upcoming sections. So coming back with data isn't not a result. But also devices are good. I think Xander was here looking for something specifically. I'm willing to hand out like a few other trinkets if people are kind of looking for their own stuff, honestly.
What's happening
from scavenging? Go ahead.
That makes us think that, or that makes Xander think that it's an AI subroutine that's doing something to the base.
Security,
algorithms,
something.
We see.
Oh man.
Blockchain.
Yeah,
blockchain is happening.
It's the blockchain.
Drop it out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
You know, like
everywhere.
How in all like the tech movies, there's these little small or eye robots. I think they're in Sheryl. They were in like all the Matrixes. So you see like a little round sphere kind of turn. It shoot. The sphincter opens. The camera kind of goes, and it like scuttles off. And you're like, oh dang.
Okay.
Because Xander disturbed something while he was scavenging.
Can't take you anywhere.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Also, I have an ability called Just Enough, which is a move where I can rifle through my pockets to find enough medicine to treat a wound. So I should probably do that.
Sorry, what was the move again? I hit the mute button at exactly the wrong time.
It's called Just Enough. When I rifle through my pockets, I can find, and then there's a list of things that I can find, and one of them is medicine to treat a wound.
Oh.
So while we're deciding what to do, I should probably treat my wasps. I'm going to pull out a strangely colored ointment and just start, just really get in there. Just start,
and you are...
It's made out of another wasp nest and some crushed up flowers.
Wasp nest, yeah.
That's how you do it in Animal Crossing, right?
Okay. Yeah, that'll... Yeah, none of that is really... Oh, excuse me. Did anyone else kind of want to take a look around for gear and stuff? I think there's probably anyone who's kind of looking for specific things might be able to find a device, but of course devices come with some risks, which are probably going to be more developmental like that one than necessarily in your face immediately.
I would like to... Have we seen any of the mites that... that we were warned about?
But, regularly, but they're so far avoiding you in the light because I think you're a large enough party.
How big are they?
About fist size. They're not like huge. They definitely don't typically attack people, but like they will when they gotta.
They giant mites.
When they're hungry, kind of.
They will when they gotta.
I would like to try and catch one as a biological sample to take back.
All right. We'll call it a device. Everything's a device. Anything's a device. That's what.
I mean, if grad students are objects, then mites are also objects.
Grad students are gear, not objects.
You get a device, and you get a device, and you get a device. Everybody gets a device.
I mean, yeah. Listen, you're scavenging a fairly. I think it's fairly picked over, so there's not like crazy good stuff here, but there's definitely, I think, stuff here that'll be of interest to all of you, and bringing home devices is increases your family's tech, and that's always good. There's definitely, I think, an option for anybody to pick a thing that they want. It's just like that it will probably also set up bad things if I'm feeling spicy. So yeah, give me your unleash power roll,
Okay.
Peter.
Unleash power. Okay, that is a
Lore.
lore.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
That's a 6.
That's a whammy.
Well, you have a might. You take it. It really.
Ooh, can I do this? Can I do this?
No.
I discover I have a severe allergy to mites.
Do it. Yep.
Yeah.
So, are you bringing it back with you, or just like breaking out in hives and deciding better?
Yeah, I feel like as soon as I like grab it, I grab one, and then like I pick it up and I'm like sweet, and then like just my hand starts to burn, and I just like throw it away from me, and then I discover like I've got just almost like blisters starting, like they kind of slowly cover like my hand, like almost up to my arm, and there's like this swelling and this kind of itchiness. It's bad.
Hey, good news about what you just gave me a golden opportunity to deal you some harm.
Yay!
Let's make. Let me just quickly look at your character sheet so I kind of know what these boxes are. Oh, you've already got cosmetic wounds from the bees.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm gonna.
One of my eyes is swollen shut.
One box, so just like welts, I think.
Have you not taken any harm yet?
No. I'm a warrior.
You're the worst bodyguard ever.
What?
Well,
I didn't smack the bees.
Yeah. I should have made you grab the bites.
She can't really protect you from your own bees.
I cannot protect you from yourself, dear.
But I'm gonna have to add 2 of those harm boxes, and you're gonna be in rough shape now on the way back. So
I am in rough shape, y'all.
Yeah.
Now I'll protect you. I'll give you a piggyback ride or whatever, man.
Ooh, okay. I will take you up on that.
I am
a frail old man.
Shell-shocked is the keyword on your particular
ironically,
current harm box.
because you picked up an arthropod.
Not a mollusk. It doesn't have a shell.
I mean, it's got a shell-like covering on it. Come on.
Chitinous, at least. What do you want from me?
Crunchy on the outside.
It's crunchy. If you bit it, it would crunch. That's what a shell is. Everyone knows. Let us, please, for the love of God. Is anyone else looking for things here?
I want to know more about this thing that set off the AI process, whatever.
Let's call it the little robot drone thing. I'm making it up a little as we go along, of course. But don't tell our viewers that. So you kind of, like I said, saw a little drone robot kind of turn around, notice you, and kind of skitter off into something kind of into a pipe that's definitely too small for you to fit into.
I'm imagining one of those pipes from like a bank.
Definitely.
Where you like put your check in like the tube, and it like goes in, it goes and it goes to another part of the complex.
Yes. No, now that's what it is. They have pneumatic tubes in these labs. Congratulations, Andy. You made that happen. That's you. These are your pneumatic tubes.
Wow.
And that's what this dude. Yeah, I know. They're
Tubular
broken, so they're not all that pneumatic
Aw.
anymore. There's definitely, but they still provide, a little robot drone scale transport network. So that's nice.
Are there more like tube entrances?
There are probably a couple in this and most rooms, kind of one probably like, especially the larger labs that have 2 doors, kind of one in the back right, one in the back left will have, because I think since Xander got us on this line that they are like originally a pneumatic tube system, and so as such kind of are designed to have an in and an out is what I remember those things working like.
Now I'm picturing the iBot in the tube, kind of like a hamster in a warren, just like...
Exactly, yes. No, you're picturing the right things. It's very skittery. If it weren't like vaguely threatening, then you'd think it was cute.
I think it's cute anyways.
I mean, that's fair. I can't tell you how to live your life. But
He's also sustained head damage, so...
That's true.
A bit shell-shocked, yeah.
Shocked by the shell of a mite.
Here we are.
Does anything else in the room have those little robot bugs things?
Actually,
what are those things?
There's, I think, probably I think the one that activated and crawled away was one of, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 maybe that were kind of sitting in a box in a corner, having mostly been picked over. Probably it's mostly from what you can tell and what I don't know. No, you probably haven't glimpsed them active before, but maybe you've kind of seen the inactive ones, and they are and dissected them as such, and so they're largely kind of a camera with legs and a computer core to, like, you know, tell it, give those 2 things instructions.
Okay.
And it seems
so
to have
in our
some
past
component.
In our past visits, we've never set one off.
Correct.
Okay.
That represents a new development, them being like, oh, hey, and moving. But you maybe want to play that close to the chest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's and let's see. So scavenge. Is anyone else trying to want to look around, do anything in the labs before trying to find your ways out?
I am looking for things that would be useful for my family. So
cool.
either either something that would help us navigate or stay underwater longer, or conversely, I just, like, as I was waiting for my turn, it flashed into my head the things that the aliens use in War of the Worlds to walk around on Earth. Want that for my octopus. I know that's probably a stretch.
Little, like...
but I want, like, a thing so that the octopus can, like, walk around on it.
We're not that... Listen, I promise I will let you continue, because, like, this goes through generations and whatever, so you'll get to upgrade your octopus tech. I promise you this.
Fantastic.
Like,
so, yeah.
Well, right now, it's just, like, the cool backpack,
right.
But in future generations, I'll give you that. But
excellent.
We're not there right
Didn't
now.
think
I think...
so.
Eventually, the octopus will be carrying your family members around.
I'm sure. But yeah, so I figured that the first thing,
like a little air backpack.
Yes. We can just, like, live on them, like have whole cities on the backs of giant. Anyway,
I suspect. I think. I'm gonna kind of abstract it if you are okay with that.
Mm-hmm. I just said I was looking for anything useful for us being in the water longer and more conveniently. Yeah.
I suppose that's fair. I think we've got pneumatic tubes that's solid. They were using some very advanced pneumatics that you can take.
I find a diving bell.
Well, probably not, but I figure kind of a detailed maybe kind of a small, like, it probably runs on small air pumps that, like, you think you could use to improve your rebreather technology or whatever. I assume you have, like, those little the first one, Phantom Menace, where they had those rebreathing. I'm sorry, that was not necessarily a pull that anyone wanted, but, like, here we are.
Tubes on the face could be Dune, or it could be Star Wars, or it could be...
there's plenty of... That's true, too.
Tubes on the
face.
It's
not an uncommon technology, and, like, we also have rebreathers as such. They're just, like, not, like, little fucking whatever, but now yours are, because it's the future. And you've got a cool thing. Give me a lore roll to kind of, like... not necessarily giving you a device, but I think that's appropriate to, like, think of it as that in the medium to long term, even oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I knew it was a stretch, but I needed to find stuff anyway. Oh boy.
No, that's fair.
Why are we so bad at rolling tonight, folks?
We
might all die. I'm just saying.
This is rolled a 2.
I rolled a well, it was a 3, so it's
if I'm being
3
honest,
minus 1.
I'm more gonna use some of this to set stuff up. You know what? I'll even give you slightly improved for breather technology in spite of all that, because that's fine. I don't think something that has like necessarily an in-game mechanical effect anyways, and that's something that like makes sense for yours. But like in kind of further poking around with the pneumatics, let's see, how do I? You're probably upsetting the drone. Yeah, that makes sense. That's how I know. Yeah. And this drone sees you as a threat now, which will be a problem later, probably, I bet.
Probably later, you bet. Whoopsie.
But right now, I'm not gonna like kill you for that rule, but it definitely does, I think, set me up some stuff later on. Is more what I want to use it for right now, and I think that you've all gotten. Jordan, you kind of wanted the information about the drone system more than necessarily thingamajig.
Yeah.
Which that's perfect. So I think you've all gotten a chance to kind of take a look around here. So I think the next thing to do is probably try and find your way out. Like, kind of, you've started to look around. You found some of the stuff you were hoping to find. Their stuff's gone poorly. But at the same time, you're starting to get a little bit worried about the radiation poisoning. The video said, remember, kids, when your dosimeter turns yellow, please leave.
Please leave.
No! Stop being where you are.
So narratively, I think as we try and start making our way out, Charon is kind of directing Islae, like, I think this way. No, take the right corridor. But mechanically, I have a skill called Wasteland Savant.
Okay.
So whenever I roll Wasteland Survival to travel a route you've used before, you always get to pick one of the +10 options, even if you roll a 9 or lower.
Okay. So that's Forge.
Are we using a path we used before? I thought we lost it.
Well, I figured we're trying to find our way back the way we go, unless that.
So what's
It says anytime you travel a route you've used before. So I don't know if.
No, I think that's not. I mean, like, it's definitely not the same. But it feels at least thematically appropriate. Which one were you? Sorry, I'm trying to look up your character.
Charon, or the
oh, here we are. Yes,
shepherds.
Yep. Okay, I see it. One. Oh, okay. That's Wasteland Survival that we're looking at. Forging a route.
Oh, we're looking at forging around.
What is the difference between those two? Because Wasteland Survival says when you
I think I used the wrong one the first time.
Or Forge a Path.
Yeah, I think Forge a Path. Wasteland Survival is, I think, more overland, and Forge a Path is more like here where you're like trying to navigate the specific terrain or the specific obstacle, whereas the Survival is more if you're like trying to navigate between these map points.
Okay.
And like I said, I think I used the wrong one last time.
Okay.
I'd apologize, but I'm not sorry.
Max Nix.
Then never mind. I mean, narratively, I still do that.
Okay,
but
yeah,
in a less
absolutely.
helpful way.
Right. Yeah, because I was trying to find the 10+ thing that it was talking about, and not. So that's fine. Anyhow, cool, excellent.
Who is navigating us to leave?
Yeah. Someone probably has to forge an actual path.
Ganymede, do you still feel confident, or should I try this time?
What is this roll against again?
Forge a path is a force roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a negative force modifier, so
someone else's turn.
What was that? What happened?
I got us lost the first time.
Oh, should I try?
Someone else should probably try.
I haven't been rolling great.
If I try, can I roll with advantage?
Why?
Because the Institute has investigated the...
Oh.
I'd allow it, yeah.
Okay. We'll see how this goes.
Sneaky.
Force. 11.
Nice.
Nice.
Yay.
Yeah, it did the thing. Hot damn. All right.
Finally.
All right. Good work.
It's like, I'm only doing this if I can roll the
Yeah, no, that. And you, wow. And you got an 11, so a total success.
Free.
So you do have to pick one of the bad things, but like there's
Okay.
definitely you're exposed to danger. The route you took is lost. You can't take gear or other characters with you, or you take longer than expected. So like if you lose this route, that's
The other
probably-
route we took is
Yeah.
lost. Who cares?
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't. With one, you really can kind of mitigate the worst of any sort of thing I can throw at you here.
Or you
so
could leave all of our sidekicks down here in the tunnels.
I would probably on this one be a bit more strict in my interpretation of others. I think that was for kind of different circumstances, although not really, if I'm being honest. But we're it's all just saying stuff, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can kind of work your way back out of the military research facility into, by this point, the cool evening air of dusk, I have to imagine, which is probably somewhat calming because soon it's night. I don't necessarily know where your sleep schedules are, but I think there's nothing super relevant about what except for you doing your actual wasteland surviving back home, unless you're actually you could visit another spot. I don't know. It would probably you're probably running fairly low on supplies. You definitely didn't like pack an absurd amount of food. You packed because it's you have runners and probably snowmobiles or something like that. So it's not like completely you have to carry everything that you want, but it's a self sustained expedition, so it's not like you can infinitely whatever. Probably.
Do we want to go home?
Yeah, I'm tired of this place.
Yeah, you've kind of got some stuff, except that you didn't. Well, you got your thing at the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
want to get the medical part back as soon as possible. So
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
I'm suffering some trauma, mental and physical.
All right. Then why don't we take that wasteland survival roll? I guess you can do it, which is cool.
Yay!
You've got a special
right.
specialty. And then we'll kind of zoom out, but we'll probably take our bio break before we zoom out because that feels like perfect.
Okay, so that's plus steel. Oh, that's
yes.
okay.
What's that phase?
Island. Yes, okay.
Do you have a minus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I have a bonus to steal if you want.
I got an 11,
Woo!
which is so I got a.
Wow.
I guess I got a 12 minus
Yep.
1.
You guys are really turning it around these past 2 rolls.
Wow.
Still, I guess you just your thing doesn't apply then. Suck it. But you do get to pick one medium thing and one good thing.
Okay.
Which, if I recall,
so
Xander, last time you discovered a secret, I don't remember what it was, but that you alone were aware of. So that's cool.
His secret was that the device he was looking for was in that place. That
Was
he,
the
found.
knowledge. Okay, yeah, that's right, because it's that you can secure it, so it's not like it's given. It was in the thing that you had to fight for. That makes sense. Excellent. I know what's happening. Peter, sorry. Pick your things.
No, you're good. So I think I want a secret.
A secret. Secrets are enough.
And you can give it to me later if you want, but it's details on a threat,
Yeah.
signs of other people's, or the origin of the fall.
Okay.
Is suggestions? Yeah. So, but you can tell me later.
Probably. Let's see. Details on a threat. I think I can give you that those centipedes that were following you. Remember the centipedes from last episodes that were kind of they seem to be. They're very, very. If you could capture one, you could use it to breed your bugs like the way you want to for better cold tolerance.
Oh, so the sample I got there isn't going to allow me to?
It'll improve it, but not sufficiently because it's an incomplete sample. I think you need to look at the like full specimen.
Okay.
And kind of like the internal active workings. You like have some of its like ichor, which will provide some hints and clues as to how it's doing whatever. And frankly, I don't know because I'm not a bug biologist, and none of this makes any sense anyways. Frankly, I think we're well past life temperatures, but I made them survive anyways for fun.
Fun.
I think on the trip from the underground base to the military base, the centipede leg didn't freeze, and so I was like, oh, okay, like this has like potential.
It's got exactly. Right. Your
but then on the way back, underground, like all the way on the trip back, it did. So I'm like, okay, cool. So there's some kind of like metabolic process that like is temporary and it has to be alive. Yeah. So like, we definitely would need a more active sample to really figure out how the process works.
All right. I love that. What does everyone say? We take like 5-10 minutes, go, do what we got to do. Go.
Sorry, what was his bad thing?
Oh shit, you're totally right.
Did I get a bad thing?
He also gets to pick.
You have to pick one of the bad things, and you also get to
on a hit pick one, and
even on an 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your thing only applies in the 7 to 9 range when you would only get a bad thing. Now you still get the bad thing, but
so wait, how do I not get a bad thing?
Let's see, you lose something along the way.
Don't play the game of life. That's how you don't get a bad thing.
So any roll
in the cave, Karen.
Anytime I thought you had to roll like below a 10 to get a bad thing.
No, you know what? I'm not generally like gonna hand it out in this way, but I think in this case, because you have rolled like the highest you could possibly roll and like have that skill, I'm gonna forego you losing anything major along the way. Maybe you just like drop a spare shoe, like
your appendix or something, like something you don't need.
Those trained wasps were the shittiest trained wasps I've ever had.
Yeah. So, actually, you know what? That's perfect. I think on the way back, you.
If you've been drawing this on this whole time,
oh my God.
Tell me you bring that back to like show everyone.
Yeah, for the historians. I'm like, look, this is what it looked like.
Right.
It doesn't have any sunglasses. You guys can stop.
I had to stare at it for an hour to draw this picture.
Yeah. Ganymede is blind now, but that's okay. His family will remember him as the guy who drew the sun.
Yeah. Worth
That's
it.
a pretty solid title. But yeah, I think I'll forgo consequences because you did so good on all of that, and we'll get you home and kind of look at zooming out and like some consequences and like the city that you all live in and all of those fun things when we get back.
Amazing. So yeah, go get some refreshments or whatever, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Hi guys, we're back. Sorry, that was kind of wild. We had to take a little longer than usual because Roll20 thought it would just like delete all our character sheets for the family level stuff. Kind of a bummer. We figured it out, but now we're ready to come back in. So kind of you guys had just made it back to like the elevator station, which is kind of well guarded and kept. Semi-permanent permanent building. Now I say it, kind of a small fort, basically regularly patrolled. So well lit up at all hours. It has like bright spotlights, which you are a welcoming sign for parties returning in the dead of night, which it used to always be, but is to now when you get back, I think, just from the timing, and I have to imagine you prefer to travel at night anyways. And so kind of we see your characters get back into the elevator, and just kind of like in reverse of how we kind of came into the story, the kind of camera of the mind zooms out and will kind of look a bit more at the family levels. So we see like this vast kind of underground cavern, stalagmites, miles high. Stalagmites, tights, which ones are the ceiling? It doesn't matter. They're columns. There's both of them. It's really
they hang
big.
tight to the ceiling, or they use all their might to grow up from the ground.
And like buildings and habitats are built into those. And it's just very. I was thinking probably like adobe is a pretty common building material. I think, like I said, pottery. I've said to you, I think not necessarily our viewers, that pottery plays a major part in like both the art of the city and like the way that it's built and designed and looks, just because ceramics is an important part of a nuclear reactor, really, and so it kind of all adds up in my head. So yeah, you see kind of these adobe houses with like steel kind of beams holding built into them. Kind of very squat, the lights are minimal, and I think you return with your stuff to the council, each kind of returning then to your families. So we'll kind of, I think, one by one roughly go, just like zoom out, see. Mostly there'll be minor adjustments, but I think you'll all get some sort of asset from this. Our surplus is the term here, so let's do that. Who wants to kind of talk about their family at a bit of a larger scale first? Volunteers? Peter, you're making a face. Do it.
Sure. Okay. So you just want me to like describe my family in general? Like,
yeah, I guess that's fair. I didn't really give a good prompt. That's on me. No wonder there were takers. But kind of, I guess, like your family has also been helping this civilization survive the past 1,000 or so years. Kind of, what's your kind of role in the ecosystem of this larger city? How, and kind of also then, what does you coming back mean to them in particular? I guess you're a leader of them, so kind of how does that change, you coming back change things?
Okay. Yeah, so Charon is a leader for the Shepherds of the Cave. Mm-hmm. The Shepherds are a group of people, originally scientists and agricultural workers, who were early on charged with producing food underground, which is very energy intensive, required a lot of high-tech lighting equipment and stuff like that, which very early on ran out. We didn't have the equipment to make, grow lights, basically. Mm-hmm. So fell back on a lot of fungus farming, mm-hmm. which, is not 100% nutritionally balanced. And true. So rapidly started trying to branch out into genetically modifying the fungus they were growing, and trying to find other sources of food to kind of diversify the food stream. And so really quickly fell back on insects, mm-hmm. and were able to find a lot of genetic material from surface-dwelling insects and below ground insects that had kind of gone into hibernation. They were able to send up some scouting parties to the surface and get genetic material, and then rapidly started switching over to large scale insect production, mm-hmm. for food. Over the centuries, that turned into not just food production, but also pack animals, attack animals, things like that. And they have, so they've also done a little bit of self genetic modification, mm-hmm. mostly kind of superficial stuff. But you'll notice they have occasionally the odd feature will pop up that might make them look a little bit more insectoid. And they've kind of, over the last couple of centuries, tapped out all of the new sources for genetic materials. So they've had to kind of fall back on trying to create new genes, which is really difficult, and it's always easier to find something already existing in nature. So that's where
hey, here you are.
Yeah. And so occasionally they would send out scouts up above. That's where Charon, did a summer internship as an upside scout. But
that's right.
It was always kind of a long shot. Like there was never really any success. But now with the return of the sun,
hell yeah,
they're going after that. So they're always going for new genetic material to try and improve their livestock.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I guess then kind of the mind's camera, the narrative's camera can kind of pan back out of these buzzing caverns across to the thrumming machinery of the nuclear engineers, who are, of course, a major faction in the city as well, given that it is run by nuclear power. They kind of control the mining operations and, of course, the generators themselves, and as such are fairly well respected. Yeah. And then we can kind of pan our camera further back. Who's next?
I'll go.
I guess you're kind of in the outer caves too.
Yeah.
So
well, and it makes sense because our factions are actually related, because according to the setup we did, at least some of, or maybe all of the shepherds are descended from or related to the Ripples. Which I guess we haven't decided exactly how that occurred. But yeah, the Ripples are sort of a group of people that rather early on decided to take advantage of the resources of the sort of aquatic areas of these underground caverns, so like aquifers and underground lakes and things like that. And we, for quite a while, were rather cut off from the rest of society because of our lifestyle and also the place where we'd chosen to make our encampment. So we didn't have a whole lot of contact with the other factions or families for a long time. But yeah, we mostly make use of water-related resources.
Yeah, and I guess you didn't necessarily come back with that much, and you've got kind of nicer rebreathers, which is cool, but not really a major thing. But I don't necessarily there's definitely some other like prestige stuff we'll get to in a bit. But let's take our camera around to the other faction, which is one of the other three major factions is the Division of Labor, which oversees the skilled artisans of the city. In particular, as I mentioned, the power of the Potters Guild. But of course, there's all sorts of. There's still, I think, it's really important to me personally, and because my understanding. Oh, I love it. That humanity is still making art, still kind of like creating, like I don't think that there's bleaker sci-fi futures than mine, but I don't believe humanity will give that shit up cheap. So yeah, that kind of your artisans represent another major faction, and let's keep moving. I'm doing my best here. It's not perfect, but I think I've got a good narrative camera work. Across perhaps the scattered tower of the Bowerbirds, I imagine looks a bit more scrumbled than necessarily the other buildings, I'm hoping.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yes, excellent.
Lots of doodads and knickknacks.
Mm-hmm.
And architectural mysteries. Like, why would they build that there?
Just kind of slapped on from something cool you found upside or whatever, yeah.
So I bring my device back and add it to the text dash. So
if you had devices, a device of some sort, which I think is you and Peter both had one, then your tech goes up by 1, and you can spend it later to do stuff. And I think maybe roll it on stuff. I don't. There's some rolls. Tech does some stuff. It's good to have.
Yeah.
Tech and data, you want that.
How does that? Like,
That's
that gives me better control over medicine? I mean, the idea was that we were.
I'm gonna kind of let you each take basically a surplus or erase a need, but we'll kind of work that out. Probably should have done the tech thing too then, but you mentioned it, so here we are. But yeah, we'll get to kind of adding surpluses or erasing needs from this in a bit, and you'll get to do one of those, whichever one it is. I think in your case, it would probably be adding a surplus of medicine.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, because you got that cool. Yeah, actually. The last, of course, important faction in this city is the kind of elevator operators. They're, of course, also run the scouting and the patrols around on the surface. And given that, like, you've seen already these cool armored centipedes and, like, angry albino snow leopards, like, they're pretty tough. Like, they're kind of known... they've got like a little bit of that sort of military jingoistic bravado, Rico's Rider, sort of, you know, if you've ever seen Starship Troopers, there's definitely a little bit of that going on with them. And Jordan, you are the Institute as the camera pans over your cool compound. I don't know what that looks like. So
I guess I'm bringing back...
go ahead. Whatever you want to start with.
I always saw it as pretty, like, utilitarian, I guess.
Okay, yeah. It doesn't have to look all that much different from the local things. We don't have to. I just, in case it did, you know. Because, like, Peter's off in these bug caves. Cheryl's off in, like, her water caves. And then, like, Xander's just kind of got a built-in aesthetic. And so, anyhow, cool.
No, I think...
Yeah, it doesn't...
They kind of took what was there and worked with it.
Or they're not really focusing on the aesthetics of the thing that...
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think everyone else's audio is like delayed 5 seconds in my feed, so
that's gonna be tough.
I brought back, I guess, the knowledge of the fact that something has been activated in the military base, and we don't necessarily know what, but it's something that we hadn't seen before. And so, I mean, I would imagine a consequence of that would be more frequent secret trips on our part to, like, see what's up, if I'm allowed to do that.
Absolutely. That's not only... I think there's some family level moves that we can do about that coming up, which will be cool to work out and figure out. But in the meantime, I think everybody can get some sort of surplus or removed need for kind of this exciting and successful trip that you just returned from. Not all, like, big things will necessarily have this as a reward, but, like, it feels appropriate just kind of starting out to play around with that a bit more. So, like, Xander, I probably, like, yours is the most obvious, that I think you probably get the surplus of medicine. Peter, you could probably remove progress as a need. Okay. Or take a surplus of something. I need to go back and look at that section. Artisans, crops, defense, and adjustment.
No, I think that makes the most sense.
Okay, let's do that then. Let's see. Sheryl, the ripples. You had It's actually, I'm not transport. You probably. Yeah, okay. You've got improved respirator technology. I think maybe you can kind of, like, upgrade your tech, underwater tech, to the point of removing your transport need. Does that make sense to you?
Cool. Yeah, that works. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. And Jordan, why don't you remove the need of progress also? You got some cool stuff there, but probably not. Nobody came back necessarily all that much more glorious. And defense also feels wrong. Yeah, cool. Progress. So, yeah, you've gotten rid of some needs or taken some surpluses as is appropriate. Jordan mentioned wanting to do some more frequent trips to the surface, and I need to look at some family moves and figure out which that is, because it makes sense. Resource materials. That feels like subterfuge, which is a slight roll. So kind of, but let's actually hang on. Before we do that, so you've all kind of arrived back down. Everyone's like, "Oh crap!" So the sun is back. Xander, Ganymede's like, "See, I drew a picture. No sunglasses." Which very exciting.
A scientist.
A scientist to the core. And as such, the kind of your society is reinvigorated in a way that it hasn't been in a long time. There's certainly everyone feels that you're not necessarily in a completely better place than you were yesterday, but like there's a bit of like, I get hope that like you can kind of start, not living in a cave, although some people are pretty happy living in caves at this point and may not choose to leave. Definitely as kind of the next, let's kind of a month or so afterwards, just to kind of set a shortish time frame. Jordan, how many expeditions do you think you send out in that shorter time period? Are you like going as often as possible now, or just like kind of trying to up the frequency a little bit, I guess is kind of...
I guess up the frequency a little bit.
Okay. Then maybe a second one.
I didn't see any, like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And of course, like people...
Because it's not like something happened that like totally like foundationally changed our knowledge of the military facility.
Yeah, I don't think that necessarily is that. You're like, huh, that's interesting, but it's not like...
Yeah, maybe send a couple extra people up there a little more often to see what's up.
Yeah, exactly. I think the, rogue security AI is something that you more out of character know than necessarily anyone's really found out in any meaningful way. So that's cool. So how has everyone else's kind of current, I guess the next month, is there any kind of new goals? Peter, you're kind of probably working towards engineering with your new exciting specimen, I assume?
Yeah, so we I guess we obtained this like partial cold resistance for arthropods. It's kind of tough to adapt from centipede to insect. So it's gonna take a lot of effort and time and proofing.
Sure, yeah.
But we're really optimistic about like improving like cold hardiness of our mounts. There's a lot of speculation that maybe like the issue I had with my my mount's horn breaking is cold related, became more brittle in the cold. So the like long term, potentially we could be moving livestock, into higher out of the cave, like further away from geothermal heat, not necessarily to the surface yet, but like we could expand. So even though we're the farmers for the entire civilization, we're very land limited. So the idea that we could move into some like previously uninhabitable caves is really, really promising. So there's a lot of excitement in the shepherds about that.
All right. There's probably no necessarily a move about that, but that's good to know. That's excellent to know. Sheryl, the ripples, how are they feeling now that like the surface is a thing again, and maybe heck even oceans might be in some not too distant future.
Yeah, that's definitely exciting and intriguing. But at the same time, like the report from Islae and the rest of the party that went out to confirm the reappearance of the sun is that, well, the whole, as far as we could see, was still covered in ice. So they're not sure how far away a body of water might be and whether or not it is actually water or slush or if it's frozen. Yeah. So definitely more on the like information gathering side of things, but definitely excited at the prospect of being able to get above ground and have some more territory because we're severely limited in our space down here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a common feeling among almost everyone. At this point. Cool. And let's see. Xander, are you doing kind of anything interesting in the kind of first month or so with this new exciting information?
The production of the different medicines that the Bowerbirds were concerned about both involves trying to use the medicine to help out the weak, because that's who the Bowerbirds are sworn to protect according to like their oath or whatever. By sort of giving it away to the people who really need it. I'm imagining synthesizing things like insulin and things like that, but I'm not sure. I'm not a medical doctor. And the other thing is that we have a need for recruits. And that's so true. It might make sense if we try to get some of the people that were helping with the medicine interested in helping out the Bowerbirds in some kind of like a quid pro quo kind of way.
Yeah, at least like, while they're in there getting help, give them some literature,
Yeah, exactly.
Are you fit for the Bowerbirds?
I like the idea of the literature, yes. We've got those little what are they called? The tracts, the little flip books that people leave at the laundromat.
Chick tracts.
Full of propaganda for various causes.
So let's go back around and do the moves that those relate to the extent that they do, and they don't necessarily always, and that's fine. But Jordan, you're kind of trying to do secret missions, which is subterfuge, the move, which is kind of when you're infiltrating other factions, it says, and this isn't exactly that. This is to a certain extent, I think you need the cooperation of the elevator operators to ferry you in secret, because like there's trips to the surface, but at the same time they're in charge of them. They do the crew rosters, so if you want to go up secretly, you have to know somebody there. So why don't you give me a plus slight roll and we'll go from there. See how well all that works out.
Next.
Slight partial success. All right. On a hit, your agents achieve one of four things. Making a resource appear more or less desirable, causing a scandal, hiding your involvement in action. Oh, okay, yeah. Probably hide your own involvement in an action is what you're looking for. They kind of know that they're smuggling people to the surface, but they don't realize that it's your agents being smuggled. Although, of course, on a 7 to 9, a partial success, the GM names a clue that you leave behind. Gosh, you know what it is? It's your branded pens. One of the agents just has like a little Institute branded clicky pen. And, just like, and they forget, leave it behind on the elevator, and they're like, ah!
That was the first thing that we managed to mass produce. Branded pens. Branded pens,
that's it. They got the little logo on the side. But
pens, sunglasses, what else do you folks have?
If it's branded, almost anything. Pencils, buttons, cups, glassware. But it also says the t-shirts, sweatshirts.
Koozies.
Koozies. gosh. All right, I'm getting it. This is
laptop stickers.
Yeah, exactly. So you've I think probably there's a suspicion at this point among that faction about your faction, and we'll go forward when that happens. But next was Peter, who was just kind of like doing some genetic engineering, which none of these, like, you're not like claiming anything, conducting any sort of diplomacy.
Well, we are trying to kind of expand potentially into new territory. So I don't know if
yeah, okay. That's kind of sorry, and you're kind of looking to establish basically kind of a small permanent surface settlement, roughly. Would
maybe not necessarily surface, but sure. I mean, maybe like
caves, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking higher up caves, but like I guess potentially we could be trying to establish like a test site at the surface, something like that.
I mean, you're probably right that there's cool caves in between that were inhospitable till now, but I'm mostly kind of want to focus on underground as the city and above ground as like its own kind of wilderness, rather than like kind of a middle. If you're cool with kind of like claiming by force more less against the force of other families or anything like that, but more against the world, nature, the wilderness. So yeah, give me that grasp roll and we'll see what's what.
Okay. And how do I
That's sorry, what?
That's an 8.
That's good.
Are you blaming the cat for that bad roll?
Yes. And
how was it?
Look at her. Can you guys see her glaring at me?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Super.
Back there in the void.
Classic Zoom tradition of saying hi to the cat. Cool. So then you can kind of establish a small kind of what color is you? I'll give you just a little. I'm trying on the map.
Probably what are we, a green?
Yeah, you're
like
greenish.
We're green. Yeah,
I see it. I can't quite match it, but like that one.
Oh. Where it's like a
is bearish
sage, like a dark foresty sage kind of.
Yeah. Listen, I've got a green. It's on the map now. Handle it. Sorry, viewers. We're doing some Roll20 stuff. But yeah, kind of to the, it looks like right to the west, I think you can establish a small, like I said, within kind of this first month, there are starting to be from various factions, not kind of small surface outposts more than settlements yet. Although there's a few factions who kind of were outcasts or suppressed or what, not particularly involved in the functioning of the city, that are kind of making new homes up here, are starting to, at least. And as such, so yeah, you kind of equally establish like around some major heat sources, probably. You have to imagine like those kind of restaurant heat lamps that they put out, but like larger scale, way larger scale. And actually it's probably using induction and some sort of like nuclear battery or whatever to really just like get all up. But yeah, you can you've established your cool surface colony there. You need to commit to securing it. Tie one of your surplus to this. The resource is, yeah, that's a resource.
Okay.
So what surplus do you want to have kind of committed to this?
Okay, so remind me. Okay,
sorry, yeah,
so this is the first time we've done this, and I don't.
Absolutely.
My character sheet is gone.
Dude, yeah. You have crops and medicine, so kind of you can, for instance,
Crops, I guess.
Yeah, you may be having to commit a decent amount of your growing operations to, or your feeding operations to, like, kind of feed for these new class of surface bugs.
Yeah, we had to kind of pull from production
Yeah.
for these like experimental bloodlines.
Exactly. So if like that goes south, then you definitely have a real chance of losing your crop surplus as well.
Right.
That's cool. And then I'm gonna give the elevator operators 2 treaty on you, as moving things up and down has taken a strain on their resources. As the other bad thing.
All right.
So that's you. You've claimed by force. Let me just mark this down. Peter, thank you. And then, oh gosh, let's see. Sheryl, were you doing kind of anything major?
I guess it really depends on how you interpret it. Like I said, we're interested in finding out more about where there might be other areas of or bodies of water available and what condition they're in. So I don't know if that means we're also going back to the surface or if we're somehow getting information from other people. I don't know.
I think either option is reasonable. Like any one of you definitely has the ability to insert your agents openly, at least, onto any sort of above ground scouting expedition done by the city. Like, there's no, major travel restrictions, but like I said, the Institute was kind of trying to keep secret that they were doing shit, and so as such wanted, that's the reason they had to roll that. But like going up and down is definitely possible. I'm just looking up, I think the uncover date, I think the uncover secrets move is possible even if you don't spend data. That's the kind of learn about the world and ask questions one. So do you I assume nobody starts with data?
Yeah, right? I don't have any.
Yeah, okay. But you can give me a straight up and down roll.
I mean, I earned 1 data, but I don't remember how. I think that was when I...
Oh, yeah. Some of the rolls can give you uncovering secrets, I think. No. Yeah, no. And likewise, I think there's family level moves and specific, like, on your character family level things that can help with it. I don't know, though. But even without spending... Yeah, I think you're allowed to. And if not, then they didn't tell me well enough. So we're doing it.
Darn tootin'. Okay, so that was a partial success, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. Perfect. So then on a hit, ask one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess these 4 choices, I guess I can sort of interpret what I was asking. So, we have a need of land right now, which is the whole like, oh, we don't have that much territory. So I guess I would ask, how do I remove our need for land, which is how do we find more bodies of water above this, like on the surface, not above the surface?
Well, you've I think a month of direct sunlight, particularly, as I've said, you're, if not equatorial, at least tropical latitudes. Certainly, the map has to look pretty similar because 3,000 years isn't plate tectonics time scale. So, you're definitely kind of somewhere fairly warm once, although, anyhow, that's not. The orbital mechanics that I'm not telling any of you about aren't
Ooh.
important just yet. But you do kind of find this sea creature thing stranding down in the southwest. Yes, excellent. Of the map. There's kind of that surface ice seems to be melting a little bit in some spots. So you think, I mean, for you, land is more sea, I think is fair to say.
Yeah. But the stranding
you're starting
event...
to get some access to that around this, this set of like whale bones and this whale graveyard.
So that's an indication that there's water, or that there was water close by here at some point.
Not just that, but also there's kind of sometimes the surface ice is cracking and things are like the giant skeletons are falling through. There seems to be some particularly warm spot underneath this for reasons you're not positive about in any sort of capacity, but it does seem to be creating water faster than other because like there's portions of the I was kind of just thinking the bottom leftish corner of the map is kind of once things melt out a bit more like a bay. And so once we kind of anyhow, there's some sort of warmth. That's the thing you need to know. And so as such, there's a little bit of access to water. You think, you know, there's like under the ice all the years, there's still like, deep water that's just like water, because that's how all this works. The pressure keeps it safe at a certain point.
Well, also the core of the planet is still warm and spinning.
That's true.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At this point, it's potassium, right? I think it's like a mix of potassium, thorium, and uranium that provide that. It doesn't matter. I'm not. There's some radioactive elements in the core that help keep it hot. And the pressure also helps keep it hot from creation of the planet. And that thermal outflow is at this point fucking critical to you all.
Totally. But the long and the short of it is that somewhere in and around that stranding of sea creatures, there is water
access.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can add a feature to the map about it, which I would have to imagine is like.
Oh, that would only be if I got a good, like a bonus hit. I just got a
no.
It does say.
Yeah, the first one for each answer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And appropriate. So I'm gonna put on an ice melt somewhere, a sea ice melt. Cool.
This sea creature stranding, are they all just skeletons? Is there okay.
Or what were you thinking?
Well, I was just I'm wondering if whatever group of us come and discover this sea ice melt and this stranding, if there are any resources that any of the other factions within our civilization might be interested in, we would try to scavenge those and bring them back for relevant trade.
I mean, large bones are like pretty solid on their own, like just like from a plant growing perspective. Like, you do not want to know how much of our plant growing is like bones and blood, or maybe you do, but it's a lot. Very good fertilizers, it turns out.
I feel like they focused on that for at least one scene in Waterworld.
Maybe. I'd never watched that.
You definitely should. If you're running this game, you should watch that movie.
I just watched The Matrix. I'm going to watch 2 and 3 later. I remember them a lot more fondly than pop culture does, but I'm not going to get flamed to death over it. But we'll see. I'm going to watch them again soon. They're all on Netflix. It's neither here nor here.
But yeah, spoiler, they compost people in Waterworld because there's so little land left.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I get it. It's not great. Ethically. Sorry for talking with my mouth full.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, so is there anything we can scavenge to sort of make deals with the other groups, or is that...
Yeah, like I think at the minimum, whale bones are pretty valuable. You can actually probably, given that it's just been so cold, decomposition may have gone weird. You can probably like recover kind of some just like straight up blubber, which is almost certainly valuable as shit now.
Solid. All right, we will...
I mean that because shit's also very good for fertilizer.
Yep.
What are we? Oh God, this has gone off the rails. I am so sorry.
Fine. So yeah, we will haul that stuff back down. I'm sure it smells great as it starts to warm up in the elevator. Sorry, elevator operators.
Yeah, they're not fans of you either.
Operators are really...
Sounds... Actually, that's another claiming by force more from the environment again, but give me a grasp roll and we'll see how well it goes.
Okay. Oh dear. Oh God.
If you're grabbing a thing,
Then we
get to like...
Yeah. Totally fair. Plus grasp. That's big old +0.
Well,
what did I get?
All good.
Hey, okay.
Bad.
We missed.
Then it is far too stuck in the ice for you to really recover anything meaningful at this point. Even your best blow torches do almost nothing against like the scale of like bone you need to be able to melt out.
Fair enough.
I guess.
We know it's there, so that's good to know.
But you know it's there, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, Xander, you were trying to get recruits. That's right. Boy. It feels like a conduct diplomacy role, but kind of a slightly unspecific one. Yeah, but give me a plus reach roll to kind of conduct diplomacy about like your recruiting situation and the populace at whole.
Okay.
Who is kind of a generic extra faction. Some people just don't get to be.
Oh, there it is. Miss.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. You are seen as pushy and kind of withholding instead of like helpful, which is what you were trying to be. And as such, I was gonna say your reputation takes a hit, but like there's probably a mechanical way to handle that in terms of treaty. Maybe one of the other PC factions probably kind of has to step in a little on your behalf and be like, no, it's just like they're like just trying to help. It's not. And so kind of it soothes the situation, but why don't you pick somebody to give a treaty on you too? See.
So sorry, I'm still confused what it means to give treaty.
So it's just kind of let's see, I played Monster Hearts before, which has strings, but it's basically kind of a generic unit of social owing, really, more than anything else. So you can use it with NPC factions to compel them to help you out, or to kind of indicates that you are beholden to them. And if you're like mutually beholden, then that's can kind of represent a closeness in terms of like alliances.
So I already owe the Shepherds of the Cave, right?
Yeah, so you can
this
like
would just mean that I would owe them an additional thing?
For instance, yeah.
What if I picked someone that I have treaty on? Would my treaty number go down?
I believe, yes, that is the way it works. I could look it up, but I won't. We'll look it up between sessions, maybe.
Okay, so if I pick, for example, the Ripples to intervene on my behalf, by sending octopi into everyone's homes at night to scramble their brains so that they remember my family more fondly.
Remember how your family was being seen as aggressive? I feel like that might pushy. Also be seen as pushy.
Only if they get caught.
A little
but
aggressive.
Let's maybe look at for a more plausible way for the
I feel like we
might
not use our octopi, yeah.
Right.
Just like maybe something that the ripples would do. Because like you can kind of like that they since your treaty's going down as such, they see that like you've gotten in this kind of PR disaster state and decide to intervene. I think more than you necessarily calling it in, but as such, for if it's the ripples, then it kind of represents them owing you less now because they've helped you in this spot. So
Yeah.
if that's who you, I guess you can pick who takes the treaty, but they get to pick how. It's
Okay.
kind of the
Then Sheryl, if you want to explain how.
Yeah, how
Totally. So instead of
I mean,
using...
I still think my idea was pretty good.
that's probably what you suggest in the meeting. And the ripples are like, okay,
I
yeah.
keep getting into these PR disasters.
We can neither confirm nor deny our ability to do that.
Gotta go, maybe.
Instead of using door-to-door to puss, you're welcome.
Oh no.
I hate it.
You're so welcome. Is it better or worse than the doctor post that you came up with last time?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, okay. Well, instead of using door-to-door to puss, we're going to sort of gently evangelize, because the Bowerbirds did get us out of a scrape earlier when there were some raiders that messed with us. So we will just sort of smooth it over with everyone and...
Cave raiders.
Cave raiders. Yeah, some people were up in our business, doesn't really matter who, but the Bowerbirds came and protected us, and it was great, so we will just sort of gently evangelize. One of those where it's like not a well, I guess it's a whisper campaign, but not a nefarious one, right? So we're just sort of like casually in conversation with other people, bringing this up and like, you know, helping smooth just things over.
Using your social influence. Yeah, okay.
Hey, yeah,
cool.
The Bowerbirds,
that's perfect.
They're cool. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, cool. The treaty thing changes because you did bad on the roll. Excellent. Okay.
So what is the treaty between us now then?
Probably... It's like you can hold treaty mutually as well, I think. But also I like Xander was doing, I think you can so it goes 4 on Ripple, so I think it goes down to 3.
Okay, cool.
3.
Right? But like, yeah.
Cool.
When it's not kind of quite as forced as this is right here, you can also like, you know, use it, call it in to be like, hey, help me out, and if they agree, then they I think it's roughly equivalent to the way you help each other out at the character level, basically, and the more treaty you have across each other, the better for it. Yeah. So I guess let's kind of maybe, yeah, Jordan's thing seemed like the coolest and most interesting. Of the like try words, here we go. Kind of the secret research, like lab missions. There we go. Words, huh? So we can kind of, I think the thing we're supposed to do now is zoom in on that, kind of like take a look at maybe one of those secretive missions with some quick characters. Or actually, it's like, what do people think time-wise? Because we had a kind of long break. It's a little close to 7, but it's not like there yet. But like quick characters is a whole new mechanic that I don't necessarily know if we want to jump right into. What are people thinking?
This is finals week, so I would be in favor of not staying up late.
Okay.
Because it is 10.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. We had some technical difficulties, so this might be a little bit of a short one. Sorry, folks. But it does kind of put us at a nice kind of, we can go, we'll leave yet another cliffhanger at this gosh darned research facility. But yeah, I think we can kind of start next session with some looks at that.
Cool.
Excellent.
Cool.
And are we back on the 24th?
Whatever today is.
Yes,
plus 14,
it's
I hope.
yep, every other Sunday. So the
Every
next
other
one will be the 24th. Come back and see us here playing Legacy, our Burn campaign again. On the intervening Sunday, don't forget Emily is here playing video games. I think she's still doing Animal Crossing. She and her significant other have been putting together most of the dinosaur skeletons in their museum, and it looks beautiful. Don't forget I play Minecraft on here every Wednesday. We're working on a giant horse breeding experiment to figure out if there are genetics in Minecraft or if I'm just going to get random horses. We'll find out. I'm going to need a lot of gold first because it's expensive to breed Minecraft horses. But that's what we're up to.
All right.
And
I haven't played vanilla in so long.
Right. And our Arda D&D campaign will be back on Saturday the 30th. We're taking a bit of a break so that I can write more story. But there will soon be more special guests on that show, so stay tuned.
Right.
Does everybody want to pimp their stuff real quick before we say goodnight?
Sure, yeah. Watch 12 Eleanor Don't. It's pretty good. But, like, it might not be for you. I don't know. Look, I'm the director. I'm not, like, emotionally involved in the success of this project. I'm very proud of and happy with it, but, like...
So
can't
supportive.
like tell everyone.
You're the worst
Good
hype
director.
person ever.
So listen, can I be honest? I'm terrible at genuine self-promotion. Like, I love this project. I'm really proud to be a part of it. And gosh, but like at the same time, trying to say that sincerely. And look, I can't even make eye contact with the camera.
I feel you.
Well, my testimonial is that I love 12 Tone genuinely. I think it's a super fun channel, and I enjoy all the things I learn on it. I'm a musician, but not a music theory person, and I have learned a lot of cool things watching it. There you go. There's some genuine testimonial.
You don't
If
have
you
to
only
take
want
my
to
word
watch
for
one
it.
video,
What was that?
If you only want to watch one video,
if you only want to watch one video, you can watch the one that comes
out.
out on May 22nd, because it's also the one that I'm in.
I have a cool collab coming out with Jordan soon. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, Jordan, someone else, give us your plugs as you go.
Sure, yeah. Twitter at my name, YouTube at my name, most of the internet at my name.
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of non-insect photography on my Instagram. So if you're interested in that, I like my photographs.
Insect photography, though, that's
still on Twitter. It's all in there. It's all in there.
But we voted for burbs recently, so now there are burbs and insects.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, it was a New Mexican paper wasp today, and also a white-winged dove. If you didn't know that a white-winged dove was a real thing,
It's not just a lyric in a song.
Yeah, you'll never guess what color their eye skin is.
That's true.
Eye skin?
Yeah, the skin around their eyes.
Like
You'll
their
never guess.
You want to know what?
No, just more than that.
Skin
Yeah.
is.
See, if that didn't intrigue you to go check out my gram. And then if you want to learn about agriculture, Carroll County Extension, University of Maryland, Carroll County Extension, we got a YouTube channel. You can learn about how to put a halter on a sheep.
I've heard people shorten Instagram to Insta before, but I think that is the first time I've heard someone shorten it to Gram.
You mean
so.
you don't
Really?
take pictures
Oh,
and
I've
do it
heard
for
the
the gram?
Yeah, do it for the gram.
Yeah.
You got to do it for the gram.
Which-
You get that photo, you put it on your grid, and then you share it to everybody else on IG.
You're
I am
so
one
hip.
half of a management
So
team
hip.
for a cat's Instagram page, but I don't know anything about what I'm doing.
My Instagram was pictures of my cat, but like I haven't updated it in quite some time.
All the good Instagrams are pictures of cats. If you guys need recommendations for other cat accounts to follow, I can hook you up.
I recently also started
Always.
following an Instagram account for an opossum.
Ooh.
Like a Virginia
Nice.
opossum, not an Australian opossum.
Yeah, the good
wow.
possum.
Yeah,
Into someone's
the
house
cute
that won't
ones.
leave.
The ones with the
Take a
little
picture
like
of it
pig
and do it.
noses and the big ears. Anyway.
That does sound cute.
There are not cute opossums? Xander, plug your stuff. You
Oh
the
yeah,
one who has it.
I released a new video on my channel on Friday about aphasia, which is the type of brain damage where people have troubles with language.
Oh.
I talk about some of the different types of aphasia and why it's not really clear how many different types there are because the brain is so confusing. And I talk about some historical case studies where I actually give examples from all the way back in the 1800s in one case of some people that had aphasia and sort of what the consequences were and how they described what it was like, after having aphasia. So that's my most recent video as part of my series called The Ways Your Brain Can Break, which, I'm having a lot of fun making. So, yeah, and then I'm at Art Explains on Twitter as well. So.
And I am the roving naturalist on all of the places. I'm actually working on a super cool new series of videos, which will be coming out shortly. Yeah, I work on Nature Check and run my YouTube channel. I'm also running the ComSciCon flagship conference in June, and the keynote speech for that will actually be live and accessible to everyone to watch on YouTube. The keynote speaker is Mary Poffenroth. She's super cool. She's a fear researcher and science communicator. She's done a whole bunch of neat stuff. She was on the Ologies podcast. She's done lots of YouTube things. So stay tuned for that keynote because it's going to be really cool.
Is there going to be a jump scare in her YouTube video?
I have no idea.
She studies fear.
I have no idea.
And everyone at home is going to, poop their pants, and it's going to be great.
But yeah, so that's us. Thanks everyone for hanging out and watching. Or listening afterwards. This is a crazy new game system for most of us, and we're learning it, but I'm really enjoying it. I think this is super fun storytelling. Yeah, and I cannot wait for us to make quick characters and journey with Jordan's family into the military research.
You guys can be the grad students.
We can be the grad students.
Oh, man.
It's just going to be real life for at least two of us.
Yep.
Flashbacks. I'm gonna have flashbacks.
I can only create the fiction. You guys populated it with grad students.
I feel the need to say that, my advisors are great, and I don't have any issue with them.
Same. Yeah, totally.
It's more of a, they're cool.
No comment.
Aww.
Oh.
Well,
Ooh.
in the meantime, everyone out there, please take care of yourselves physically and mentally and emotionally. We care about you, and we're glad you're here for a little escapism and to watch us be fools. So yeah, thank you for coming along with us, and we'll see you later. Bye.